Thanks for jumping on. I want to tell you a story.
Yeah, you bet, man. Sorry I sound weird. I got a little bit sick this week.
No, it's all good. So we just got back from this Texas thing, the Independent Media Initiative Conference or Festival or whatever. Did you like it?
Yes, we did. I liked it a lot. Yeah, I really had fun.
So how was your flight back?
How was my flight back? Fine. They had a flight attendant didn't show up in Austin. So we almost didn't make it to Denver in time to catch the connection. I thought, that's kind of odd. There's shy one flight attendant, which I thought was kind of an odd reason for a delay. I didn't know that was a thing. But in the end, it all worked out. Wasn't too big an inconvenience or anything. How about your flight back?
Yeah, I had a similar situation in Austin, actually. So when we first started, we didn't have a pilot. And they said, okay, like we were loading the plane. They're like, we don't have a captain. It's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I don't know why they do that. Planes are weird these days, man.
Have a captain? No, yeah. I don't know why they wouldn't do that either. You want there to be someone to fly it. Did they ask if anybody knew how to fly a plane? Kind of like would they ask for a doctor sometimes?
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody here know how to fly a commercial airline or anything?
When they were loading, we were loading, and you know how when you load, you're like, oh, I'm next to the crying baby. I'm next to the whatever. There was a whimpering dog like 2 rows behind me. I could hear it go, ow, 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 ow. And I was like, oh man, dog. What do you think when you hear a dog on the plane making noise like that? What are your thoughts?
I don't think I've ever had that happen. I don't know what I would think. I'm not a coward. I've just never been tested. What were your thoughts?
I'm not a coward. I've just never been. So I have opinions about dogs on planes. I actually have a family member that for a long time worked for one of these companies that helped people get, I don't know what is it, like a certification so that you can say, oh, this is my support dog. Have you seen these things?
Yeah, I've seen them. Some of them say, it's my support dog, pet the dog, or it's my support dog, don't pet the dog. It's like the dog only supports you.
Yeah. There's working dogs like, hey, I'm blind and need a seeing eye dog, or I have diabetes and this dog can smell when I'm exhaling a certain chemical and tells me when I need to, my sugar's getting low. It's things like that.
Isn't that something, by the way? Yeah.
Have you experience with that? Like a dog that does that? A working dog?
No, there's a kid at school with my kids who had a working dog like that. I don't know how it smells blood sugar being off, but it could smell and it would alert. It's just amazing to me.
So when the kid is low on blood sugar, does the dog run up to it with a little barrel under its neck and pull out a little needle with insulin and just jab it into the kid's heart or something? Is that how it works?
Yep, exactly. I think that's exactly it. I think the dog actually has insulin in its fangs, like Komodo dragons have venom, and it just bites the kid and breaks the skin. But there's insulin in the bite. I think so. I didn't ever see it delivered. That's all I could think of.
When you were a kid, do you remember the cartoons of the Saint Bernard with a little barrel of whiskey under its neck?
Heck yeah, for sure. Isn't that a thing?
Was that
just
a
cartoon thing? Because I think it's a thing, right? The Saint Bernards are big enough to carry along something. Was it a bottle of whiskey? I thought it was just a compartment for delivering stuff and helping to drag things around, because it's a German dog, right? A Saint Bernard.
I don't know. It just, in all the cartoon memories I have, the dog, if you were dying in the cold, this dog would run up to you and it had booze in a little keg under its neck.
What cartoon were you watching?
I don't know, man.
Where they saved people's lives with alcohol. I didn't watch that one. That never happened in G.I. Joe, man. No, that doesn't ring a bell. I mean, the barrel rings a bell. It being full of booze to save people's lives, when somebody fell into a well or something. I don't remember that part.
I think working dogs are amazing.
I think so, too.
I remember my neighbor growing up. She was blind, and she had a seeing eye dog named Angus. I remember she would go outside to let her dog poop, and it was the most interesting thing. She would take the dog outside. I was very good friends with her, and the dog would poop, and then she had a Ziploc bag, and she would put it on her hand, and then she knew kind of roughly where the dog was standing at the time it defecated, and she would kneel down and just feel around with her hand until she found the turd.
Oh, dear.
And she would grab the turd through the Ziploc bag, and then she would flip the Ziploc bag inside out. And she did that so that she wouldn't step in the turd at a later time. I thought that was fascinating.
That was fascinating too. How do we
Yeah.
get on Working Dogs? Wait, you're going to tell me that there was no pilot, and then all of a sudden, Banjo, the airplane flying Weimaraner, pops up and flew you home to northern Alabama.
Yeah, it was amazing. It's a good
Working dogs, man. They just blow your mind.
Pilot working dog. No, this is a really interesting thing that happened, and I would like to get your opinion on the situation. So we got in the airplane, finally got a pilot, everything starts going. They shut the door, we get everything going, and this dog, I can still hear it whimpering back there. I hear kind of like a commotion. It's not, I don't know really what it was, but somebody gets out of their seat while we're taxiing and like goes to the luggage or something like above the seat. And the flight attendant comes back and they start talking, and I'm already doing something on my phone or something. I'm just not paying attention. But then I hear the voices get a little louder, and I kind of turn around and I hear the flight attendant say, "Ma'am, you have to put the dog under the seat." And the lady said, "Well, they let me hold her on the way over here." And the flight attendant says, "Okay, that I understand, but our policy is the dog has to be under the seat." And the lady said, "Well, it's my support dog. This is my support dog." Basically, this dog was like whimpering. It wasn't anything crazy as far as dogs go, but the woman would put it under the seat. The woman was like, "I need to get its anxiety medicine."
Wait, she does the emotional support for the dog? Which way does the emotional support go?
Right. So the whole time this is happening.
No, I'm not even joking. I'm trying to understand. Was this a pet and she was doing a play on words and she needed to provide emotional support to the dog? Or was she saying, this is not a pet, this is an emotional support dog, but my emotional support dog is having an emotional breakdown?
Exactly. You nailed it. And so I was texting with a buddy at this time. We were in the middle of like exchanging information, and I was like, "Man, you'll never believe what just happened." So I'm texting him. He goes, "So is this like an alternate reality where the woman is so chill they prescribed her an anxiety dog?" It's so like, "Hey, you're way too chill. You got to have something to stress you out. So here's this dog that's dumb, and you got to take it everywhere." I'm like, "What the heck?" As I started to understand what was going on, I was like, "Oh, well, this is a simple, and so the flight attendant says, "Look, are you going to be able to put the dog under the seat?" And the lady goes, "Well, I mean, we can try it." And the flight attendant says, "That's not how this works. You either put it under the seat and it stays there for this 2-hour flight, or you can't. You just tell me which one you want to do, and that's what we're going to do." And the woman kept giving like these really cagey answers. Like, "Well, I mean, yeah, we can try it." And she was like, "No, I don't think you understand. This is the point of decision." And she goes, "Well, this is my...
Do or do not.
This is my emotional
there's
support
no try
dog."
in this situation.
And she appealed to that.
So,
like, "This is my support dog. Like, this is my truth, and you have to acknowledge my truth," kind of thing. That's the vibe it was projecting. And
yeah, I can hear it.
And I just got pretty miffed, and I was like, "I don't like this." And so this is my ultimate question. Where are you at on the whole thing of emotional support dogs in the airports? Because I got off the flight, and as soon as I got off the flight, I walk out of the gate. We eventually, what happened is somebody got up and got medication for the dog, and they just kept going back and forth. And finally, the flight attendant just walked to the front, and the pilot came over and goes, "Hey, I'm sorry about this, but as you probably know in the back, we have a dog on board with anxiety. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull over to the next gate, and we're going to get this passenger and this dog off the flight." He just said it, and you could hear the groans like, "Oh, yeah, are you serious?" You could hear everybody on the flight.
Wow.
Yeah. There were about 200 people on this flight, and there was one individual that she couldn't yield. The obvious thing to do is shove the dog in your little dog carrier and shove it under the seat and just shut up.
Yes.
That's how we go forward with our day. No.
That's how we move forward. Mm-hmm.
So what would you do in that situation? What would you do?
If I were the lady with the dog, or I'm you?
No, I know what you would do. You would shove the dog in the little thing, and you would.
I wouldn't have the dog on the plane in the first place. You're incorrect.
Oh, really?
There would be no dog. No, I'm not taking my dog on an airplane. Like, come on.
Well, you can
I
fly
don't
with
know.
a dog. I'm cool with flying with a dog. What I'm not cool with is pretending.
Why are you cool with that?
Why?
That is a huge variable that you cannot control in a flying tube in the atmosphere.
Okay.
I understand that other people do it and they trust that their dog is super well regulated, but I think my dog is fantastic. Maya's a great dog.
Maya would do fine.
I think.
Yeah, she
But what
would.
if she didn't?
But here's
what if she didn't?
I
Then
know
200 people don't get to go to their destination on time. I mean, the amount of money. Do you remember there was one individual at this event that we were just at who was talking to a group of us about why they're so careful with what they do and don't put in their videos. And do you remember what this guy said about why he's very careful not to put dumb jokes or waste any time in his videos?
Absolutely. And that was Shane, Stuff Made Here. Shane said, yeah, if I put a joke in my video, it's like 100. No, he's like, it's 1 million life hours of human life. So it's the equivalent of me killing a person in terms of wasted human life.
Yes.
He's like,
that's what it is. You're destroying human capital.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't bring Maya on a flight, even though she's the best pet I've ever had, because she's untested. I've never had her in that environment. I think she'd be fine. But if she weren't, the consequences, the loss of time, the interference, there probably somebody on that flight has someone who's dead or dying who they're holding back tears to go and see. And my dog just gets the squirts and then panics and freaks out. And now we have a dog diarrhea emergency. Everybody's going into full meltdown mode. And it's me. That was my fault. I'm so sorry. You're not going to get to see your dad. I'm sure he'll understand. My dog that was here to make me feel better got the squirts.
It's interesting.
Just, I don't want to do it. I don't want to take the risk. No, I would not take my dog on the plane. That's the first thing I would do. If I did, even though my dog is a 45-pound Pomsky, yes, I would do the waffle stomp heel mash technique to cram my dog with both feet under the seat in front of me. And then anytime she tried to peek out with her face, I would make the "stop it, you're embarrassing" flustered mom in Walmart sound at her. Stop it. You're embarrassing me. Get back under there. I would say that for 2 hours until we got to our destination. That's what I would do. What would you do?
So this is what I thought originally. I thought, man, this is so dumb. Like, first of all, just put the dog under the seat. And even if it whimpers, it's fine. The dog's under the seat. The flight attendant's happy. Everything's good. It's great. Whatever. I've got headphones.
Everyone has noise-canceling headphones. Yeah, everyone has them.
Exactly. We're going to put these on, and we're just going to get there. It's 2 hours. Not a big deal. When the pilot made the announcement, I'm going to pull over, the lady next to me had a pretty interesting response. You know, she was just sitting there scrolling on her phone, and I said, are you serious? She couldn't just put the dog under the seat. You know, I was like doing the thing where I whine a little bit. You
said that to the lady, or you just said it?
I said that to the lady
space.
next to me. I was like, can you believe this? You know, I was trying to get like a sympathetic ear. And she said, actually, I have compassion for her. And I said, what? That's how I said it. I didn't be like, oh yeah. I just said, what? And she goes, no, dogs are really important. And, you know, we've got a little baby dog, or, I mean, that dog's her baby. And, we've got a little dog like that too. And, yeah, I just feel, I mean, like, think about how hard it's going to be for her to walk off this plane. That's going to be really hard. And then I got to thinking in my head, am I the bad person here? Am I bad?
Where are you at on that question now, given a couple days to think about it?
Well, I don't know. I thought about it long and hard, and I was like, you know, I got it. That dog is very important to her. I still don't think, like, if you know the dog has anxiety problems, you probably shouldn't, bring the dog with you. I mean, if you have a dog that has been prescribed medication, that's a pretty big indicator that you don't need to travel with this dog, I would say.
Yes.
So anyway, the lady walks off the plane, and her life partner, boyfriend, husband, whatever, walks off with her. And there's a guy from New York in front of me, sitting right in front of me. He had enough, And he just needed to, I don't know how things work where he's from, but he just needed to do a little outburst. I'm just going to do, aimed at no one. He said, are you something kidding me? And he used colorful language. Are you kidding me? I'm on an airplane and we have a dog with anxiety, and that's why I'm going to be late, and that's why I'm going to miss my connection, and that's why I'm not going to get home. And I thought to myself, this man is making a valid point.
Everything he said is valid. The question is, say it or not.
Right. And everybody on the plane was pretty chill. That guy just said what everybody was thinking. And then the lady, the dog, and her dude walked off the plane. And then the guy walked back. He's like, we forgot the medication or the little feeding tube. There's a tube of food or something. He came back on to get something they misplaced for the dog. And then the guy did a little outburst. Wasn't crazy. I wish he hadn't said a bad word, but he did. But he said this, and then the guy that came to get the dog feeding tube cut him a glance like, say it again, I'll beat you up. And I thought to myself, dude, you're on the plane getting a little feeding tube of niblets for the dog. You're not going to do anything to this dude. You can look at him all you want, but I think we're on his side here. So just get your little thing, do your little walk of shame. And get off the plane.
Shame. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm picturing the bell. I'm picturing the nun. The whole thing. What an awful walk. Ew.
It revealed something about my soul. I thought to myself, I have very little compassion for these people right now. I feel like if she had just dropped her pride and just, as you said, Waffle stomped her dog into the little thing, then everything would be fine. We'd hear some whimpering, but we'd get there. But no, you made us all late. And so I thought the flight attendant handled it perfectly. She's like, these are the choices, A or B. What would you like to do? Well, I don't know. Okay, great. Sounds like you can't answer the question. That's an automatic B. Therefore, because obviously what's going to happen is we're going to start flying and you're going to pull that dog out. Can't allow that. Okay, we're going to get you and the dog off the flight.
Yeah, and if that's the policy, it's that simple. And then she did handle it right. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to get your take on the whole situation. When I got off the flight, I exited the plane and I saw like 4 other dogs. I saw a huge German Shepherd looking dog it looked like a military dog, and it had a muzzle on it, and it had a little thing on the side that said support dog. And I was like, that feels like an attack dog. And then there was another one, and they were like chilling out and walking their dogs in the concourse together. And I was like, are those cops that are like doing the drug smelly dog thing? And I looked, nope, those aren't cops. Those are just people with little rolly bags and an attack dog. And I just thought, man, I think we're out of control on this. Thoughts?
I think we might be out of control on this, but dude, this is a fork in the road in the conversation right here. Like, if we really want to pull on this thread, it's reflective of a whole societal thing. And okay, you pulled on it. Never mind. I'm gonna do this. You said thoughts. I'm gonna give you thoughts. Here's what I think happened, Destin. I think that the post-war order of the 20th century highly prized having kids and doing family. Then I think everybody aged out and they went to church and social groups. They coached our baseball teams. They taught us in our schools in the 80s, 90s, and the very beginning of the 2000s in our country, in the West in general. And they did their dang best to encourage us and give us the things that had been life-giving to them. Knowledge, social structure, art, religion. They did their best, but none of the old people who tried to hand us the inheritance of the second half of the 20th century anticipated MySpace. Then MySpace happened and people started to really pick it up in 04, 05, and everyone just naively got out their little computer and went out onto the internet and was like, here are things that I got told by Mr. Tackett in algebra class. And here's a thing my coach told me one time in the locker room. And this is what I heard at youth group from Earl and Tammy. And it did not go well. And everybody was like, holy crap, this language that worked internally for me is not working externally in the larger world. And I think everybody had this gigantic moment of identity crisis and panic, and it all added up to one giant cultural identity crisis where everyone felt bad Not everybody knew why, because we had all these new toys and gadgets and things, and we could be entertained 24/7, but we still felt crappier. And we were like, maybe if we just had the gadgets and the video games in our hands all the time, we would finally be happy.
So
we invented those, and it didn't make people happy.
Hey, you're word vomiting. I'm gonna stop you for a second. Hey, speaking of which, have you read The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt? Have you read that?
Yes.
You read it? We both read it.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on it?
I liked it.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, all the time. You got your gadgets in your hands all the time. Keep going.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because you were like, here's a question. And I was like, well, do you want the adult answer, or do you want the one that's just like just fodder?
Keep
it
going.
just takes
I'm sorry.
a minute to actually answer a question like that, man.
My hair was blown back. Keep going. Keep going.
Well, good on you for having that be an option for you. So, I'm jealous. So, I think we all just got really sad when we took all of the entertainment and everything that we'd been developing for the last 20 years and we put it in our pocket, and we could use the entertainment and have access to the entertainment and pet the entertainment with our index finger anytime we wanted. The entertainment rectangle could put us to sleep at night, and we didn't feel better. We felt worse. And so I think that the emotional support animals are a product of that. We went through a period of madness where we didn't know what we believed, and we didn't know how right and wrong worked. And we thought maybe the government could tell us, and I don't think they really know. We thought maybe celebrities could tell us. I don't think they really know. A lot of people are kind of burned and sad by religion at that point. So there was a disconnect there. We don't trust advertisers. I think we just kind of had to run through a dark and difficult period, because I think we're on a seam between two huge epochs in the history of human thought, and we're guinea pigs. We've never been here before, and I think understandably it's difficult, and it made people sad, and it's hard to put your finger on why. And petting a dog or a cat, you know what? You sit there and you look at that dog, and you're like, life is so simple for you, and you're always so happy to see me. This is great. This is simple, and I need this simple happy from time to time. And I think that's why the support dog thing happened. So do I think it is a mark of whatever curse of new modern Western weakness we feel? Yes, I do. Also, I don't want people to be sad, and I understand why petting a dog makes a person feel better. So I guess that's my thought on it.
I have a family member that used to work for an outfit that would help you get the emotional support dog.
Okay.
And they actually have doctors involved. Like the doctor will say, oh yeah, you definitely need an emotional support dog. Like sometimes the doctor gets involved and writes you a prescription for the dog, and then now you have a support.
Then insurance pays for it?
I don't know about that. Maybe so. I don't know. But I didn't ask that question. I don't know, man.
Well, does insurance pay for the food?
That's man, that'd be awesome. That'd be really cool.
If you have a prescribed dog, insurance should pay for the food and the little medicine, the anxiety medicine. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I've never had an emotional support dog. I just have a normal, boring dog.
Maybe that's why the guy had to come back on the plane.
Maybe so. Can't fill the prescription again. It's a prescription. It's really easy from a distance for me to just feel annoyed because airports are frustrating. Airport travel is frustrating. I did have an incident on my flight as I was getting off the plane that was born out of frustration, and it did involve me, and it did involve a confrontation with another passenger, and I forgot about it until
You confronted somebody?
Yes, I did.
What'd you do?
I'm sitting in my seat, flying to Rapid City. It's about an hour flight from Denver, and everything's fine. It's a great flight. There are two delightful, very old ladies sitting across the aisle from me. This plane has 2 seats per side of the aisle, so it's 4 wide total. Not a big plane. It's Rapid City. I think they were sisters. I mean, I'm just glancing over and stuff, but they had clearly been on some kind of adventure together. One of them, I would guess, was in her 90s. The other was in her 80s, and the younger one was helping the older one, but I think they were sisters, staying young and having adventures together.
I like these people already.
They were great. There was a kid behind us who, I don't know, I'd say somewhere between 18 and 20, kind of doing the dark, bleak personal presentation thing, which is sad. Like making yourself ugly on purpose means probably bad things have happened to you. I get it. I've done counseling for a long time. I get it. Things aren't going well. There's no connection to be made It's Rapid City. This is your final destination. You're not connecting through Rapid. No one needs to make a connection. No one needs to run off the plane. It's a tiny airport. You've been through it. Not a big deal.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Well, these two old ladies were, thank you. These two old ladies were going to need a minute. And frankly, so were some of the older couples in front of us. But this kid shoved his way past several families who were just starting to stand up and was not deboarding the plane properly or respectfully. A couple rows back, a mom said, "Hey, man, that's not how you do it." Because I looked back and saw the end of him pushing past her daughter, a little girl. And I didn't like that very much. I have little girls. I didn't like it. He was being rude. It's stupid. That's like a metaphor for the decay of civilization. I don't like it. Just get up when it's your turn, grab your things quickly, and get off the plane. It's right and it's respectful. So he decided he was going to push past these old ladies. So I got up and I used my body to physically box him out. I put my butt into his backpack that he was carrying in front of him. And I stood up and I turned and I faced him. And I said, like the lady said back there, that's not how it's done. And we're going to let these two women get off the plane because it's their turn. Then you and I will walk off the plane. And I'd like it if you'd remember this conversation the next time you fly.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. I've seen this starting to happen. Like, it's like, dong, the little dinger goes off when the square people pipe pulls up to the side of the plane. And it's like it's in certain cities that you fly. It's like a sprint to the front. And recently I noticed it happened when I flew to Alabama. And I was like, whoa, no. We don't do this. All right. I'm proud of you, dude, because I've always wanted to do this, but I'm usually by the window. That's my preferred seat. But yeah, I'm with you on this. And if this guy opens his mouth to you in this story, then I think the next step should be you waffle stomping him into a little compartment under the seat.
Yes, that's exactly. He did open his mouth to me, as a matter of fact. The story goes on. He said, "I apologize."
Oh.
I said, "It's cool, man. Let's let these ladies go." He said, "Okay." And that was it.
That's awesome. He apologized and it was over.
Yeah, he apologized and it was over.
That's fantastic.
Yep. He was a kid. He was being a jerk. Somebody called him on it and he adjusted his behavior. That's pretty good.
When you had this confrontation, what was the volume of your voice? Did you say it just for him, or did you say it a little bit louder so people around him could hear as well?
I said it in the low, confident, slow, this is how it is, deep eye contact with both eyes facing you directly voice.
The silverback
and
gorilla.
Everyone seemed to really enjoy that. The people behind were giddy. They were delighted by how that went. Yeah, I had support on this issue.
That's great, man. I'm proud of you.
Okay, but then what happens if the kid's like, "Real star hip hop," and just punches me in the mouth? Like, what do you do at that point then?
Well, I mean, I think you just chokehold him and put him on the ground or whatever. Yeah, so.
No.
You don't think so?
No, I think you just have to let him punch you at that point. Seriously, I think this is what I would do. I think I would be like, "I am not fighting you and I am not going to fight you, even though you punched me." And I keep saying that really loudly with my hands down, trying to back away because I want to still be allowed to fly in airplanes. I want to fly to places and I would not like to be stripped of that privilege.
Interesting.
So,
interesting.
It's a high risk move, but I don't know. I sized him up. I measured him and I felt this is a lesson I could impart to him. He will remember it, and he does not have the physical capacity to even bluster at me. And he did not.
That's good, man. I think that's good. I don't think the dog situation warranted like that level of confrontation. I think everybody was kind of like eye roll, like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I don't know. I've also been in situations where, there's like a baby that's unruly or something like that, and that's a very difficult situation. Your heart just goes out to people in that time. You're like, man, this is hard for them. I remember one time I was flying and we had a little bit of turbulence and the lady next to me was terrified. Like she was white knuckling the armrest and she was really, really scared.
Yeah.
And so I turned to her and I said, "Hey, how are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm scared. I don't know what to do." I was like, "Will you hold my hand?" And I held her hand and she's like, "Thank you. This is actually helping." And I was like, yeah, great. And so I just held her hand till we landed. I didn't tell her. I was like losing blood flow to my fingers because she was squeezing it so hard. But it was great.
Airplanes increasingly feel like a moment where you are supposed to go into this tube. Once you pass through all the screening and all your stuff has been accounted for, you're now not a person until you walk back out of security. Your conduct is different. You think differently. You engage with the world around you differently. But the reality is people are still people on airplanes, and they still have babies, and sometimes they have to go somewhere with their baby. You can't be mad. I've seen people who make no effort to restrain or discipline their children. That's different. But if mom and dad's trying and the kid isn't flying well, they're a kid. And so was I once. It's hard to be a kid, and it's hard to sit still. So I get it. But it does feel like increasingly there's this vibe with air travel where you just turn off humanity for a while, go into your weird little bubble, and then you just turn it back on, and now you're a person again. You hug people once you're past security, and you laugh about things again. And then you talk at a normal volume level again, and you don't antisocially wear headphones around everyone in public again. It really is a very unusual time, and I don't enjoy air travel. I haven't done much of it recently. But I feel weird. I like being a person, but it just feels like it kind of doesn't work in airports.
Yeah, I think you're right. And one of the things I do when I fly is I've recently started this. All the people that's making it happen, for example, the janitor in the bathroom, the custodian that's sweeping the floor, the person pulling the trash, the guy at the end of the gate that's taking checked bags outside to put them under the plane, I go out of my way to speak to those people because I can imagine living in that environment where you're just zombified moving from one place to another. Imagine being around that many people all day long and being treated like you're not a person. You're just kind of like an accessory to me getting from point A to point B. I think that'd be very, very difficult. And so I've been going out of my way to speak to those people recently, and it's worked really well, I think. Do you do that?
Your words have affected me because if someone's greeting me, I try to be extra friendly with the people taking my ticket or whatever. I always greet all of the flight attendants and thank them coming and going. But all the other people, basically, if somebody is wearing a vest that is brightly colored, I think I've gotten the habit of just tuning them out. How would that feel? It's already a tune out other people place, and then you put on that specific color is meant to tell everyone else this is an NPC. Like, this is part of the backdrop of your grand story of travel and everything else. Don't worry about it. They're operating in the background. But no, I would like to say that I've been going out of my way to greet the guy who's taking the bags at the end of the square people pipe and all that. But I haven't been. I've kind of been living on my little headphones. I think I'm going to take a cue from you here and see if I can do a little better on that.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to talk to you about the dog incident. I was just wondering what your thoughts were. I personally think that the working dog versus the support dog pendulum has swung too far. And I think there should be an option for flying with your dogs. I just don't know what that should be. But I don't think it should be as easy as, hey, I've got this little piece of paper from this 1-800-SupportDogRus.com thing. I don't think it should be that easy because I think it inconveniences.
It's like how people get ordained to perform their friend's wedding.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Ordination.com or whatever, yeah.
Is that a thing? Ordination.com?
I don't know what it is. I mean, that's what I would call it if I were starting that website.
Yeah.
Hey, this episode of No Dumb Questions is brought to you by GetASupportDogRx.com.
Man.
Destin, what do you love about GetASupportDogRx.com?
I don't want to do this. Like my position is that we shouldn't do this. Can we jingle out? Is there something else we can jingle to?
It's not brought to you by them. Don't do it. It's not a thing. Don't go to that website. It's probably something really bad.
It probably is.
It's not a thing. We're so sorry. We didn't mean it. Hey, FCC, that was a fake. This episode is brought to you by. Brought to you by no one.
Can we mention this, the Patreon thing? Can we do that?
Yes, that's exactly why I did that. That's totally what I was going to do. Speaking of sponsorship, we're really grateful to the patrons for making this program happen.
Yeah, patreon.com/nodumbquestions. That's it. I just want to talk to you about that, see what your thoughts were. I know it's not a huge episode or thought, anything like that. I just thought you would have thoughts, and you did.
No, that was fun, dude. Thanks for hanging out. I like that story. And the only thing that I thought was coming, I just would have assumed at some point you would have turned on your camera or a microphone or something. I thought you were going to play the actual incident for me, and it's never happened.
That would have been cool, Matt, but I don't have the recording. I didn't think to turn my phone on. But I did talk about this, and I got a recording from a listener that says they had something similar happen on their flight, but there was a different result of the whole exchange. I think it's pretty interesting. Do you want to hear it?
So this is like how it should have gone?
I think so, yeah. It was, let me see, it's from Pickles here is the person that sent this in. You may just go ahead and play it? Here, let me put it in here.
Yeah, I'd like
put it in the tape deck here. Okay, I'm going to put it in the tape deck here.
How's my smoochy puppy doing on this long flight? It's only going to be a little while, little smoochy's going to be fine. Cuddle up right here next to Daddy's neck.
Barnacles.
Just be very comfortable.
Put the dog away. When they come down the aisle, I'm not in airplane mode yet, even though I'm supposed to be. But you're going to draw attention to the dog. Don't do it.
Dr. Pickles gets stressed out. Isn't that right, Dr. Pickles? You get stressed out.
Hey, stop. Stop. I don't like Dr. Pickles.
No, it's going to
Why is Dr. Pickles whimpering so much?
Dr. Pickles, this bad man. Oh, you like that?
Why are you doing this?
Me and Dr.
Just let us get to our destination without being weird.
I'm receiving emotional support. Testicles.
Hey, chill. Hey, chill out. The flight attendant here. I told you. Here she is. All right, here she comes.
Hold this dog.
No.
Excuse me, sir. We're on the runway. I'm going to have to ask you to put your dog away.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you, though. I'm gonna. This is Dr. Pickles.
Just put your dog away.
My dog. Okay. Thank you for that
Just
feedback.
put your dog away.
I'm handling the conversation right now. I'm handling this.
I'm sorry, sir.
Dr. Pickles is more.
Policy of our airline.
All right. Dr. Pickles is more than a
sir.
dog to me. Dr. Pickles is like a prescription. So, for example, the way that a doctor prescribes to you hemorrhoid cream, so a doctor prescribes to me Dr. Pickles. So I think I'm just going to keep Dr. Pickles out here with me.
Sir, airline policy states that all pets must be stowed during takeoff and landing and for the duration of the flight. So I'm going to need you to put your dog under your seat immediately.
Look, I told you, just put the dog away. Just don't make this weird. Just put the dog away. We'll make it on our flight just fine. Just do it.
Thank you for that. Ma'am, the key difference between Dr. Pickles and other dogs is that Dr. Pickles suffers from crippling dog anxiety. And I think if I put Dr. Pickles under the seat, that's actually going to be worse for Dr. Pickles. So what if we have Dr. Pickles stay out here with me?
Barnacles.
Yeah,
Here's the deal. The guy behind you is getting mad.
I see that.
And I recommend you do what the flight attendant says.
I recommend
do what the flight attendant says.
that the guy behind me get his own Dr. Pickles so that he can be emotionally supported when he gets angry. I'm not angry. I'm fine. Dr. Pickles doesn't like to ride under the seat, ma'am. I am just going to keep, I promise, I'm going to keep Dr.
Excuse me, sir.
Totally under control.
Here's the deal. Okay. I'm with the flight attendant. I'm going to need you to walk. You're either going to put the dog under the seat right now, or I'm going to waffle stomp your dog into the... just do it.
First of all, I don't know what waffle stomp means, but secondly, I will put the dog by under the seat. How about right in between? Halfway. Okay. Oh! Dr. Pickles! Well, as much as I didn't like seeing Dr. Pickles get waffle stomped under my seat, I have to admit, he's handling it better than I expected, and I guess we all learned a valuable lesson today about airplane etiquette.
That's right. All right, now just let me go ahead and read, and you just shut up, and let's get there.